so they can survive because they have no mum and no dad and no brothers.
And they have to walk very far, so have to walk over the hills over the hill and then down the hill, and then they find their little cottage, but it's very small, probably as small as this studio.
Yes, even smaller even.
No, I think it's this small, but only a tiny bit smaller.
Yeah, because they're so poor. They have nothing to sell. They can only eat like little vegetables and all the potatoes.
They don't have any lollies.
Of course not. And they barely even have, their clothes barely even fit them anymore because they're so old and worn out, and they're getting too big for them.
And they've got sheep, and they've got horses and sheep and cows, but they don't have cows. They have horses, and but only Haley knows how to shear a sheep, but not
Alicia.
Not Alicia. So Haley always has to shear it, but none of them know how to knit any warm clothes. So they have to wear them the skin like a cape.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they use it for a blanket.
Or a skirt. They can make a skirt.
Yeah.
And so one day they were collecting potatoes as usual, and because of the potato famine, the potatoes, they were really tiny and small, and half of them were rotten, but they had nothing else to eat, so they had to eat them.
Yeah, and all the fruit trees, and there wasn't much rain in this place, so. And they only had spitting, and the plants didn't get much water. So all the fruit trees they'd got, they'd all wilted and hadn't had much water, and they didn't have any taps outside because they couldn't give the plants their water. Otherwise, they wouldn't have enough.
And so life was really, really miserable for them. And until one day, the day they were out collecting potatoes as usual, they saw a person. He's in the distance and he's standing there. They could only see his silhouette. And then Haley said, "Who's that man?"
But Alicia wasn't there anymore. She'd already collected her potatoes, and she was up starting to walk up the hill. And then Haley ran up and said, "Who's that man?" And
then Alicia said, "Oh, Haley, you're only little. You shouldn't bother yourself with it. Come on, we're going home." Because Alicia was very bossy.
Yeah, she didn't like Haley getting into any more mischief.
But Haley was so curious about who the strange man was that when Alicia wasn't looking, she ran back down the hill towards the silhouette person.
And then but the silhouette person she came there, and but then he started to walk away, and then she ran after him and said, "Who are you?"
And the man said, "I am me, and that's all you need to know. Now get away, girl."
And then she ran up to, and she